Hi, this is Prima and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have been planning this video for the longest time and I'm glad that I've finally come around to doing it today. Today's video is all about menstrual cups. I believe that you need to pass on the word if there is something that you know about and if there's something that can help fellow menstruators. So then I just feel like it's really imperative that I get whatever knowledge I have and then I pass it on. So that is what I'm trying to do. If you feel like there's something that I haven't covered in the video and you would like to know more about it, please feel free to reach out to me in the comments below. If you feel like you cannot comment on my YouTube video and you would like to speak to me personally, please find me on Instagram at @Prima Melissa D'Souza. The handle is right here. I started my journey with menstrual cups in January 2021. I had been seeing a lot of videos, like YouTube recommendations. A lot of my friends talked to me about it, and everybody was just talking about how it's great, it's amazing, it helps the environment, it's really sustainable, it's like a one-time investment. It was not that I was apprehensive in the beginning, but it just felt like something which is slightly scary, if I may, because I'm not gonna lie, I've used tampons. And tampons at one point in time I thought had changed my life, and I wanted this to be something that I tried as well for myself and see if it works out for me or not. And I did try it. I've been using it for the past 8 months and I can definitely say it's life-changing. And the very first cup that I picked up was by Sanfe. The link for this is in the description if you would like to buy it. So this cup by Sanfe, it's a small sized cup. And on the inside there are some numbers written, so there's like 20 ml and 10 ml. So there are some people I know who like to keep a track of how much blood they've lost, and this is, I think, kind of like a good measure to know, whether your bleeding is really heavy or if it's light, if it's normal, if it's abnormal. Just to get acquainted with it and just to sort of get used to it in the beginning, I put the menstrual cup, and along with that I also used a pad, so that if in case there is a leak, I am not, sort of doomed or like stuck and I've got like stains all over my clothes. I really wanted to avoid that situation. Ideally, it's not supposed to leak out unless it's full. Then maybe I was I was not sitting in the right position, or I was just twisted and with my back tilted. I don't know what I did, but it tended to leak. So the fact that the pad was there was like a saving grace. I picked up my second cup. This is by And Me, and this is a large sized cup. So it's really imperative to know what size fits you, or rather what size will work best for you. I'm like, I have a higher blood flow, so I think I need the large cup. So I went ahead and bought this cup. So it's not the cup's fault, it is my mistake. The website was really clear about what kind of cup I need to use and depending on what flow. The small size was not available when I tried to pick it up, so which is the reason why all of this has happened. So this was the error I made, and which is why I'm also making this video, so that other people are aware that you need to know what size is best for you. So this second cup of mine, I used it for a month or two. So I was alternating between these two cups, and then I actually got around to only using Sanfe for the longest time. So after I got to know about TrueCup, I decided to buy the cup and see how it works out for me. I used the Sanfe cup for my first day and for my 5th day, and I used the TrueCup for my days 2, 3, and 4. And it's just great. I mean, I love everything about it. I'm probably going to pick up another cup soon, because this is also it's got a really nice build as well. It's not like all the other cups have great qualities, but I prefer this one very much. So coming back to the pricing, I think I paid somewhere in the range of about 250 to 300 rupees for this cup. Somewhere under 350 is what I'm guessing. I've added the link for this in the description, so you can check it out for yourself. I bought this on Amazon. For And Me, I picked it up from And Me's website. For the TrueCup, I paid $9.99. When I used the Instagram questions feature sometime in April or May to reach out to my fellow menstruators, asking them if they have any qualms or queries about menstrual cups, and if they have any questions that they would need me to address in this video, one of my male friends reached out to me saying he has a friend who is the owner of a startup called TrueCup, and he said that it would be great if I could connect with her and see how things go for us. So this friend of my friend, her name is Alakshi Tomar, and she's the co-founder and CXO at TrueCup. And I had the wonderful opportunity to get on a Zoom call with her and speak to her.
Around 2017 is when I first came across menstrual cups. And I had my personal journey of switching to them. There was a lot of inhibition. I bought a cup. I didn't use it for 3 months because I was just scared of using it. Like how to insert it. So I had to get over my own conditioning through that. And I ended up speaking to a very close school friend of mine, Shivangi, who lived in Singapore and been using cups for a while.
Right.
And she basically said that, is there a cup in India? I've been thinking how menstrual cups can be introduced to India. And at that time, no one was really talking about cups, barring a few people.
Right.
So and then I shared my experiences from the field, and then we sort of came together and decided to start this. So 2018 is when we started, and our objective was to talk about and work in the space of sustainable menstruation. The size, so it depends, right, on what brand you're picking up. Sometimes certain brands have 3 variations of sizes, certain brands have only 1 size.
Right.
So a couple of things, we always say that there are 2-3 criteria, right? Firstly, what you need to figure is your cervix length. Actually, that's the best determinant for the size that you choose. So your cervix is the opening of your uterus. So when you insert your finger inside your vagina, basically you have to see till where your finger sort of hits ground. So if your finger is going inside till here, that means you have a lower cervix. If it's going somewhere in the middle of the finger, that means you have a medium cervix. And if it's not hitting anything when you're putting the finger inside, that means you have a higher cervix.
Right.
Therefore, if you have a higher cervix, a larger cup is what you should go for, because think of it, large would be like the length of the cup will be longer. So it'll be easier for you to reach the cup, right? If your cervix is lower, you need a shorter cup, therefore a small cup would be. So that's one criteria. Right? Okay. Second criteria, if you're not very aware about your cervix, you're not comfortable exploring your body like that, then it depends on the age that you're at. So if you're below 30, then a small cup is generally suitable for you. If you're above the age of 30, 35, actually 35, a larger cup would be suitable for you, because your pelvic muscles with age become a little loose. So if you're actually very active, you can still go in for a smaller cup. And the third factor is if you have given vaginal birth. So if you've given vaginal birth, then a larger cup is suitable for you. If you haven't given birth or you've had a C-section, then you can still go in for a smaller cup. So there are softer cups available, there are medium firmness cups available, and there are really hard cups available. Now, how do you choose which one's suitable for you? So firstly, if you have a very active lifestyle and if you're doing multiple activities and your pelvic muscles are stronger in that sense, then you should opt for a cup on the firmer side. Like obviously, if you are a beginner, if you're a teenager, then a softer cup would be more suitable for you. If you have more of a sedentary lifestyle, again, a softer cup is what you should go for. So cup is of medium firmness. Our black color is a little on the more firmer side, but if you choose any other cups that we have, then they're the medium firmness size, and I think that's why you had a different experience because you were moving around a lot. It didn't leak because firmness sort of helped the cup stay in place. And we do have a softer variation also, which is the pink, soft pink for, and then there's a teenager cup which is also softer, which is teen pink. So those variations are built in so that different people, depending on their comfort level as well as activity style and body build, you can sort of vary and choose accordingly. Some cups come in without a stem also, because what happens is if you have a lower cervix, then the cup has to go completely in. So the stem sometimes ends up popping out, and that becomes a little uncomfortable. The good thing about our cup is that you can cut off the stem. So if you see there are like these grid lines on the cup itself, on the stem, so you can cut along those lines if the stem is poking out for you. But there are different types of stems also available. So this is a flat stem, like a flat long stem. There are rounded stems also, which are in the shape of a ball. So those kind of cups are available. It all depends like on your preference and what you're comfortable with. So I would always recommend just like watch some videos, talk to people, and it's sort of like figure their experience before you're choosing a cup. To simply put, it doesn't hurt. The thing with the cup is it's firstly like soft on the softer side. So when you're inserting it during your period, there's a lot of lubrication because of the blood. Therefore, it slides very easily. So there's no tendency that it would hurt. There are certain situations wherein it could hurt. And those situations are if there's not enough lubrication and you're trying it for the first time. So because you're not very familiar with this body, you don't know how to insert it. So that's is one of the possibilities, but that's easily remedied if you can just wet the cup. That will create that lubrication. You can some people do use a lube also to initially when they're starting out, but I sometimes recommend against it because it can corrode the silicone of the cup.
Okay.
But again, if you're trying it out, if you're just like trying it once or twice, you could go for that just to see what it feels like. But yeah, otherwise it doesn't hurt. If you're relaxed, I think that's another big criteria of using the cup. If you're stressed, if your like body's tensed up, everything will close up, right? So your vaginal opening also will not permit the cup to go in, and then there's another possibility. So if you're relaxed, if you're like completely like at ease, there are different positions that you can try to insert the cup into, and then it's like a piece. I've done it in like a moving train, so it's as easy as that. I mean, sometimes like with the cup, because I have a very heavy first day and sometimes I use a small cup only. So I do need another sort of, just in case there's a leak or if I keep it in for too long, I don't get the chance to change it. So sometimes I do wear a cloth liner with my cup also. Just especially if you're starting out as a beginner. And you're not comfortable in terms of if you've inserted it right or there might be leaks, you're just like you want to be on the safer side. Cloth pads are a brilliant alternative because you can reuse them for up to 2 to 3 years. I think the only thumb rule is that you have to dry it in the sun. So that's what sort of kills off the bacteria. Otherwise it's super easy to use, very easy to wash off. You can just soak it in water. So a cup will last you if you're taking care of it, boiling it between cycles so that it sterilizes, making sure that you don't drop it here and there, you don't burn it. So if you take care of your cup nicely, it will actually last you for up to 8 to 10 years. That's a while, right? So if you do the comparison in numbers, you end up spending around, say, 35 to 40,000. Like you end up using 12,000 pads in your entire lifetime, right? Which racks up to be a huge number. So comparatively, over time, even though the one-time investment for a cup is approximately between 500 to 2,000 rupees, depending on the type of cup you're picking, but it will surely last you for like 5 to 10 years easily. There's a material called SAP, super absorbent polymers, that actually absorbs the blood and makes sure that it stays in the pad. That's firstly, obviously, it's a chemical that's added in, and secondly, when you dispose the pad off, that's because the absorbency of the pad still stays because of the SAP. It ends up clogging if you're throwing it, say, in any water body or drains and pipes. So that's sort of like, how do you dispose of the pad is something that you need to think about also.
Correct.
Because if it's going in your trash and it's buried in the soil, it's polluting the soil. If it's getting burnt up, it's polluting the air because it's creating dioxins. And then if it's going in the water, it's absorbing and blocking areas and obviously polluting that water also. So like to think through that entire cycle and then take a call, okay, how much is the actual cost of using a sanitary napkin? I don't even have the numbers on that, to be honest. That's always an interesting question. But so your uterus is not like a black hole, right? Like it's there is obviously firstly the menstrual cup is in your vaginal canal. That's where it lies. If the cup sort of stays in that canal area, and then there is your cervix, which is the opening of the uterus, right? So the cervix is this tiny hole from where the blood comes in. So your cup won't go beyond it, right? So it won't like go all the way up into your other body parts. That's where it will stay. But again, if your cervix is on the higher end, it might feel like the cup. You can't find the cup inside.
Yes.
But the way to remove the cup in those situations is just to like relax and like bear down a little bit. So imagine like you're peeing and then you're putting some pressure there. Not too much pressure, just a little pressure. And if you're completely relaxed, the cup you'll be able to hold on to the stem and like pull it out. So yeah, it doesn't get lost. You know, when we imagine using the menstrual cup, like so the messy part I think comes into play when we're removing the cup.
Yes.
Because that's when there's blood in the cup itself. So that's where it could get messy. But if you're like a frequent user and if you've been using it for like a couple of months, you know for a fact that you're not just taking it out like that, right? So yeah, so imagine your cup is here and when you're removing it, you pinch it slightly from here and that's how you remove it. And you take it out slowly. So it doesn't leak. It doesn't like spill over or anything. And then you can empty the cup in the pot, wash it with water and reuse it again. So that's as simple as it gets. It doesn't get on your clothes. It's actually pretty like easy. I sometimes do it sitting on the pot so that, you know, I just like directly dump it and then wash it with water. Generally in India, it's convenient because we have those jetters on the side. Sometimes if you're traveling somewhere outside, you can carry a small bottle of water if you don't have that. You know, sometimes during travel, like I was telling you, once I was traveling on the train and I had to change my cup. I just carried a small water bottle, removed it, washed it with water, and obviously dumped it. So it doesn't get messy at all. So honestly, like boiling it for like 5 to 7 minutes, that does the job. Because like boiling, this is most cups are made of medical grade silicone. So that's something you should check. So medical grade silicone is the same kind of material that you know, baby bottles, the nipples on top of that. So that's the same material. Silicone inserts inside the body for some medical procedures. That's medical grade silicone. So that's the material, and therefore think of cleaning baby bottles, right? Like baby bottles, when you obviously sterilize it in hot water. So it's a similar process. You can sterilize the cup by boiling it in water. Currently, there are also menstrual cup washes that have been released by a couple of other brands. So basically, what we have to make sure is that we don't use like soap. Because most soaps have a lot of chemicals in them, and these chemicals can again corrode the silicone. So what you can do is use completely like plain soap which doesn't have any kind of chemicals, mostly foam and some sort of natural ingredients that it's made for. So you can use a bit of the foam of that, or you can use one of these menstrual cup washes. If you are, you know, like very finicky about hygiene, but to be honest, like boiling does the trick. So there's no specific research around this, but medical grade silicone can be kept inside safely for between 8 to 12 hours. That's the thumb rule. That beyond 12 hours you shouldn't keep it, because it's just risky in terms of what can happen. We're not sure what can happen, but you should, like, I know there are times where I myself have kept it inside for more than 12 hours. What I've started doing what I started doing is now I have an alarm for like changing my cup, because you don't feel it inside at all, especially after the second or third day. You're just like completely off your track. But 12 hours is the maximum recommended time that you should change your cup.
I really, once again, thank you so much, Alakshi, for spending time and to talk to me. And I didn't thank you enough while shooting the video, but then thank you so much for taking out your precious time and shooting the video with me. And I hope all you menstruators out there who watched this video found it really helpful. There are a lot of other videos, and there'll be, when you buy the cup also, there will be instructions that come with it. First of all, you need to sort of breathe. Okay, it does scare you in the beginning, no doubt, but it's going to be fine. You just need to be absolutely calm, and you do not need to panic. It's your body. You need to get extremely comfortable with it as well. What I do is, so there are different types of fold methods as well, right? There's this U fold, there's a C fold, there's an origami fold as well, but then this fold works out the best for me. So fold the cup like this. This is how it will be. just put it up the vaginal canal. So here. So right now you can see there's like a fold. So this is also exactly what happens inside. So sometimes the fold just gets stuck like this. So there's not enough place for the blood to go in, and then it tends to sort of leak out from here. That is not something that should happen. So what you need to do is, from what I've learned in online techniques, you just need to sort of keep doing this around your cup, and eventually it opens up and becomes like this. The purpose of this stem here is to just, if in case there's a situation where the cup just moves up from its place because your cervix is either higher or lower, so this stem is supposed to help you ease it out a little bit. So when you're removing the cup, please ensure that you're not trying to pull it out like this, because oh my god, it's going to be a crime scene then. What you need to do is slowly just pinch it and let it come out like that. Really careful, really gentle, and then just pour it down the pot. There are so many things you learn as you go. And honestly, the same experiences with menstrual cups as well. So from what my suggestion would be to anyone who would like to try these is that give it some time and please be patient with it. Not like Rome wasn't built in a day. In the same way, your body is not used to adapting to things like this immediately. Mentally also, you need to sort of remove that block from your mind that, oh, okay, there is a foreign object that's getting inside my body, it's going to harm me, it's going to do this, do that. None of that really happens, because at the end of the day, these things are made to make your life easier. I'm going to stick by these, and I swear by using menstrual cups every single day for the rest of my life till the time I'm going to be menstruating. To all of you people out there who are watching this video, thank you so much for watching. If you are a menstruator, please do give it a shot to try out buying menstrual cups and using it and seeing it for yourself. You will see the difference. To all of you non-menstruators who are watching the video, thank you so much for staying and watching the whole video. Please do pass this video on to people whom you might think this will help. And I really hope I've been able to solve all doubts and queries. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next one.